Son of man, go in among the house of Israel and speak my words to them. For you are not being sent to a people who speak an unintelligible language or an unknown tongue, but to the house of Israel. You are not being sent to many people speaking an unintelligible language or an unknown tongue, whose words you cannot understand. If I would send you to them, they would listen to you. But the house of Israel will refuse to listen to you, for they do not want to listen to me. All those of the house of Israel are hard-headed and hard-hearted.
This video is created primarily for Jehovah's Witnesses, as they are Jehovah's people.
Hello everyone, brothers and sisters around the world. Welcome to episode 2. My name is Son of Thunder and I am your host. In episode 1, I have established the fact that we Jehovah's Witnesses are Jehovah's people, and there is no any other Christian group that belong to Jehovah except us. However, the Bible is full of passages that are not necessarily good news for Jehovah's servants. One of those Bible passages is Job. In the beginning of the book of Job, it describes Jehovah's servant like as follows.
There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. He was an upright man of integrity, he feared God and shunned what was bad. 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. His livestock amounted to 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 1,000 cattle, and 500 donkeys, along with a very large number of servants, so that he became the greatest of all the people of the East. Each of his sons would hold a banquet at his house on his own set day. They would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. After a series of banquet days was complete, Job would send for them in order to sanctify them. Then he would get up early in the morning and offer up burnt sacrifices for each of them. For Job said, "Maybe my sons have sinned and have cursed God in their heart." That is what Job would always do.
So Jehovah was very much happy with his servant Job. He was blameless before Jehovah, he was blessed like no one else on earth. But the following is the most important scene, between Jehovah and Satan. Jehovah was proud of his servant and had a reason to brag about Job to Satan. Jehovah said to Satan, "Have you taken note of my servant Job?" At that Satan answered Jehovah and said, "Is it for nothing that Job has feared God? Have you not put up a protective hedge around him and his house and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his livestock has spread out in the land. But, for a change, stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your very face." Then Jehovah responded and said to Satan, "Everything he has, it is now in your hand." As you well know the account, Satan went all out and destroyed Job's life. Everything he had, up to a point of inflicting physical pain to Job by giving him malignant boils. When that happened to Job, he did not understand what has happened to him. He began blaming Jehovah, but he did not curse him. So Job started to speak out of ignorance and maintained his purity and saying that he has not sinned against Jehovah. Job 6:2-4 reads,
"If only my anguish could be fully weighed and put on scales together with my calamity. For now it is heavier than the sands of the seas. That is why my words have been wild talk, for the arrows of the Almighty have pierced me, and my spirit is drinking their venom. The terrors from God are lined up against me."
In reality, it was not Jehovah who destroyed Job's life, it was Satan. But ultimately, Jehovah is responsible for that calamity, for he has sanctioned it. But Job's mistake was that he blamed Jehovah to execute justice partially and saying that Jehovah destroy both wicked and good people alike. Because Job does not understand the overall picture to the challenge that Satan brought to Jehovah concerning him, Jehovah was proving to Satan that Job was very loyal to him, whether he blesses him or not, having plenty or none, in sickness and in health. Oh boy, this now sounds like marriage vows. The most important thing that Job maintained, was his love for Jehovah. Even though he expressed his ignorance and blaming Jehovah for other things and seeing himself highly, he never cursed Jehovah. Hence Jehovah soon appeared to Job and said to him in Job 38 verses 1 and 2.
Then Jehovah answered Job out of the windstorm, "Who is this, who is obscuring my counsel and speaking without knowledge?"
Job then realized that he was in error and that he was valuing his comfortability than sanctifying Jehovah's name. Job replied to Jehovah in Job 42 verses 2 and 3 and said,
"Now I know that you are able to do all things and that nothing you have in mind to do is impossible for you. You said, 'Who is this, who is obscuring my counsel without knowledge?' Therefore I spoke, but without understanding about things too wonderful for me, which I do not know."
The Israelites exhibited similar traits of Job when they were faced with calamity, but soon realized and acknowledged that they have sinned against Jehovah. In the humble beginnings of the Israelites when they entered into the Promised Land, Jehovah described the nation and the people in a beautiful light. He has given them a place flowing with milk and honey. Down the line, the hearts of the Israelites turned and sinned against Jehovah, hence Jeremiah said,
"How Jehovah has covered the daughter of Zion in the cloud of his anger. He has thrown down the beauty of Israel from heaven to earth. He has not remembered his footstool in the day of his anger. Jehovah has swallowed up without compassion all the dwellings of Jacob. In his fury he has torn down the fortified places of the daughter of Judah. He has brought down to the ground and profaned the kingdom and her princes. In the heat of anger he has cut down all the strength of Israel. He withdrew his right hand when the enemy approached, and in Jacob he kept burning like a fire that consumed everything around it, as if for a festival day. You summon terrors from every direction. In the day of the wrath of Jehovah, no one escaped or survived. Those whom I gave birth to and reared, my enemy exterminated."
Just like Job, Jehovah blessed him with everything. In swift moment, Jehovah gave everything Job had in Satan's hands. In a similar way, Jehovah gave the Israelites to Satan's hand in a form of the Babylonians and Assyrians. And they devastated the land. Jehovah approved and sanctioned it, against his own nation, just like he did with Job. The following span of verses are strikingly similar to Job's cry. Jeremiah lamented and said in chapter 3 verses 1 to 18,
"I am the man who has seen affliction because of the rod of his fury. He has driven me out and makes me walk in darkness, not in light. Indeed, he repeatedly brings his hand against me all day long. He has worn away my flesh and my skin, he has broken my bones, he has besieged me, he has surrounded me with bitter poison and hardship. He has forced me to sit in dark places, like men who died long ago. He has walled me in, so that I cannot escape. He has bound me with heavy copper fetters. And when I cry out desperately for help, he rejects my prayer. He has blocked up my paths with hewn stones. He has made my roadways crooked. He waits to ambush me like a bear, like a lion in hiding. He has forced me off the paths and torn me to pieces. He has made me desolate. He has bent his bow, and he sets me up as the target for the arrow. He has pierced my kidneys with the arrows of his quiver. I have become a laughingstock to all the peoples, the theme of their song all day long. He has filled me with bitter things and saturated me with wormwood. He breaks my teeth with gravel, he makes me cower in the ashes. You deprive me of peace, I have forgotten what is good. So I say, my splendor has perished, as well as my expectation in Jehovah."
Now this is what Job said in his outcry.
"For a fact I know that this is so. But how can mortal man be in the right in a case with God? If someone wishes to argue with him, that one could not answer one of his questions in 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in power. Who can resist him and come off uninjured? He moves mountains without anyone knowing it. He overturns them in his anger. He shakes the earth out of its place, so that its pillars tremble. He commands the sun not to shine and seals off the light of the stars. He spreads out the heavens by himself, and he treads upon the high waves of the sea. God will not restrain his anger. Even the helpers of Rahab will bow down to him. How much more when I answer him must I choose my words carefully to argue with him? Even if I were in the right, I would not answer him. I could only plead for mercy from my judge. If I call out to him, will he answer me? I do not believe that he will listen to my voice, for he crushes me with a storm and multiplies my wounds for no reason. He does not let me catch my breath, He keeps filling me with bitter things. If it is a matter of power, he is the strong one. If it is a matter of justice, he says, who can call me to account? If I were in the right, my own mouth would condemn me. Even if I keep my integrity, he will declare me guilty. Even if I keep my integrity, I am not confident about myself. I reject this life of mine. It is all the same. That is why I say, he destroys the innocent and the wicked alike.
The attitude of the Israelites was captured before the Israelites went into captivity, is similar to that of Job when he persisted he did not sin against Jehovah. This is what the Israelites kept on saying.
They will die by the sword, all the sinners of my people, those who are saying, the calamity will not come near us or reach us. They are saying again and again to those who disrespect me, Jehovah has said, you will enjoy peace, and to everyone who follows his own stubborn heart they say, no calamity will come upon you.
In a similar way, Jehovah's Witnesses as Jehovah's servant we have enjoyed much blessings. Charles Taze Russell began from obscurity and was used by Jehovah to bring back the truth that was buried after the first century Christian era. Jehovah blessed our growth from regional to international Bible students. We expanded in properties and created thousands of kingdom halls. The number of publishers went up over time. Our ministry work was richly blessed by Jehovah. Just like with Job, Jehovah was very proud of us, and we can surely say that he said to Satan, have you seen my people, Jehovah's Witnesses? They are the only upright group of people that worships me, in truth and in spirit. Then Satan said, it is nothing that Jehovah's Witnesses worship you. You have created a hedge around them, you have blessed them in everything they do. Just take what they have and see if they shall not curse you. Then Jehovah replied to Satan and said, everything they have, it is in your hand. On the other hand, Jehovah keeps on saying to us in Proverbs 27 verse 11,
be wise, my son, and make my heart rejoice, so that I can make a reply to him who taunts me.
Jehovah is pleading with us that we listen to him, and not be like Job, who did not see what was going on, as far as the challenge that Satan put to him. Let's listen to our song.
Young man and young woman, to give your heart
Accordingly, after Jehovah gave Satan authority to mess around with us, then Satan began to take residence in Jehovah's temple.
He stands in opposition and exalts himself above every so-called God or object of worship, so that he sits down in the temple of God, publicly showing himself to be a god.
Satan does this by placing his own agents in the middle of Jehovah's temple and push his own agents in Jehovah's temple.
But the lawless one's presence is by the operation of Satan with every powerful work and lying signs and wonders, for such men are false apostles, deceitful workers, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself keeps disguising himself as an angel of light. It is therefore nothing extraordinary if his ministers also keep disguising themselves as ministers of righteousness. But their end will be according to their works.
Just like in Job, Jehovah allowed it to happen, so too with us Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah gave Satan the keys to his organization. Satan walked right in front door.
That is why God lets a deluding influence mislead them so that they may come to believe the lie.
Also Jesus Christ did acknowledge Satan that he is in our midst, when he said in Revelation,
I know where you are dwelling, that is, where the throne of Satan is, and yet you keep holding fast to my name.
Our meeting has been arranged in heaven. The sons of God stationed themselves. When Satan and Jehovah discuss as Jehovah's Witnesses, then Jehovah gave us to the hand of Satan, to test our loyalty to him. Satan from within, he is busy making us to sin as a people against Jehovah, and he is succeeding. Satan is trying to make Jehovah to be angry at us, and for sure Jehovah is getting angry at us day by day. In Amos 4 verse 4 Jehovah said,
Come to Bethel and commit transgression, to Gilgal and transgress even more. Bring your sacrifices in the morning.
Satan has turned the temple of God upside down. The worst part is that Jehovah's people are like Job, have no idea of what is going on. They are ignorant as Job, and we maintain that we are holy and there is no fault with us. We have not sinned against Jehovah. Jehovah's people will always exhibit Job syndrome. Our ignorance shall abound, but the reason is that Satan is very careful with his craft. Did not Jesus Christ said, let the wheat and the weed grow together, also that there are wolves amongst God's people that are wearing sheep's skin? Jude explained the mystery of the man of lawlessness that is brought in by Satan as follows.
Beloved ones, although I was making every effort to write you about the salvation we hold in common, I found it necessary to write you to urge you to put up a hard fight for the faith that was once for all time delivered to the holy ones. My reason is that certain men have slipped in among you who were long ago appointed to this judgment by the Scriptures. They are ungodly men who turn the undeserved kindness of our God into an excuse for brazen conduct, and who prove false to our only owner and Lord, Jesus Christ. These are the rocks hidden below water at your love feasts while they feast with you, shepherds who feed themselves without fear.
This was the warning to the Christians, but just like Job, we shall not hinder this warning and still maintain that there are no such people in the ranks of the holy ones of Jehovah or the governing body members that feast with us, saying Jehovah shall not allow such a thing to happen in his earthly organization. We Jehovah's Witnesses indeed are right now exhibiting Job's syndrome and his ignorance. Jehovah shall bring calamity to us and thereafter ask, who is this that is obscuring my counsel without knowledge? And just like Job we shall respond to Jehovah and say, we spoke, but without understanding about things too wonderful for us, which we do not know.
I thank you for watching. Join me on another episode, to gain understanding as to why might Jehovah be angry at us as his organization.
Son of man, you are living in a rebellious house. They have eyes to see, but they do not see, and ears to hear, but they do not hear, for they are a rebellious house. As for you, son of man, prepare for yourself luggage for going into exile. Who is wise? Let him understand these things. Who is discreet? Let him know them, for the ways of Jehovah are upright, and the righteous will walk in them. but the transgressors will stumble in them.